Hey everybody, welcome to rainy Dayton, Ohio of the US of A. As you can see here, it's my home actually. Here visiting from Australia. This is where I grew up. That's my combi there. Put a lot of hard work into that for about I don't know, over a year, trying to get that to where it is. It's always a interesting piece. But what I really want to talk about today is this journey, Pillage the World. PillageTheWorld.com. This is gonna be a pretty epic adventure that we're going on. So what I want to do is just have a chat about who is Ryan? Where does Ryan come from? It's a good question because sometimes I wonder how I've gotten to this point. Growing up, pretty conservative. Older brother, older sister. Mom, dad, still married, still together. Grew up in that rural, sort of suburban place. Growing up, always knew that I wanted more, but wasn't really sure how to get there. I wondered, would I have the same? Would I have the opportunities to go and see the world? I worked my ass off in high school, and did pretty well as far as grades and everything. I used to play ice hockey from the time I was about 5-6 years old to all the way through college. I wrestled as well, so I was a little bit of a jock in my own way, I guess. But I didn't play the typical football, basketball, baseball sort of thing. I was always a little bit different. I had friends from different schools here, different schools there. I was relatively popular, but I was not part of one group by any means. Went to Ohio State University. Go Buckeyes. I went there for landscape architecture because my old man, he's in that field. I really knew that's what I wanted to do from a pretty young age, but I had focus when I went to school. There was no fucking around. It's get in, get out. When I went there, I was pretty serious about it for six months or so, and was planning on doing the whole 4-year degree, internship, all that. What the institutions tell us to do. How did I know any different? I was actually at an industry conference. Sorry about the wind here and stuff. It's just a bit rainy. Anyways, I was at this industry conference, and I met this guy named Shane. And this was when I was about 19 years old. We hit it off, and it turns out that he was from Australia, and he owned a landscape architecture firm near Sydney. And he said, "Look, if you ever want to come out to Australia, give me your number." And at that point, I was ready to step it up, and I said, "Okay." I said, "We'll win." And he goes, "Yesterday." 19. Okay, yeah, whatever. Finished up school at a two-year college. Pretty much the same degree, but I think I was about 20. It was 2007, September 26th of 2007. I moved to Australia, to Sydney. Not knowing what I was going to get myself into. I mean, worst case scenario, I thought, if I fall on my face, I can always come back to Dayton, Ohio, right? What's the worst that can happen? So once I realized that and I had that plan, I decided to go for it. Went out there, and for the first few months, I really enjoyed it. The thing was is that I was dating a girl from Ohio, and she pretty good girl, but she was the type that was born with a silver spoon in her mouth, and it was she was just different than me. I didn't grow up like that. I grew up working my ass off, and my parents earned everything that they had. Anyway, she came out there, and we were together out there for about 6 months, and I ended up actually hating it because she was there, and it's like, I wasn't forced to go out and to meet people, because I could rely on her for this and that, and it was just a bad arrangement. Long story short, I read a book by Richard Branson called "Screw It, Let's Do It," and that book talks about if something's not working, make a change, do it, move on. I knew it wasn't working in that position at that company with that girl in Australia, and I decided to take off. And 3 days later, I left and went to Hawaii. Lived at the North Shore of Oahu for 6 months, and really found out who I was at that point in time. I was about 21, and while I was there, came across the book, The Game, which I'm sure we've all come across that. That's pretty much how everybody's entered into this community. Very, very mind-fucking sort of thing. Like, it's very intriguing. It's trying to, there's a system to all of this. And got into that slowly. Dated a few more girls. Ended up moving back to Ohio for about 3 months. Was here, and I realized that I was at a dead end. And I said, okay, let's regroup here. And I moved back out to Sydney that year. Moved out there by myself with a new, fresh perspective. And, it was, I was still a little bit timid about the game. I wasn't sure how people would react to it, about, if they thought I was weird, or if they thought that it was an odd thing. I was a little bit embarrassed to talk about it, but, I still went with it. I didn't really do too much with it. I understood stuff. I understood what was happening when I would go out in the clubs, this and that and that. But I didn't really do too much. Again, I wasn't confident enough to go out there and do it. It was probably about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I met Max, who is from France, through couch surfing, of all things. He came to Wollongong, which is where I live, and needed a place to stay, so I put him up for a week. We came across, we found out we were both into the game, because one day I walked out, and I think he had the Mystery Method book sitting on top of his suitcase, and I said, what do you know about the game? And he goes, he told me he's been reading it, he's been practicing it in Thailand, and had just gotten into it. And I just was like, holy shit, something crazy is going to happen here. And it did. We went out and we gamed pretty hard. Now, at first, I was scared shitless, like approaching girls, like the hottest girls out there, and saying all these crazy lines. Like, I didn't even know what I was saying. It was a pretty interesting thing. Max helped me get my confidence up there. He pushed me to do things I never thought I could do, which is pretty. I thank him for that. It was awesome. It was life-changing. Max ended up going back to France because he quit studying at school. I stayed in Australia. We've kept in touch for over the last year. It's been about 14, 15 months since he's left. Talking quite often. And it was about 6 months ago that he called me up and he said, look, I want to go on this trip around the world. And he goes, let's go, let's do it. And the place I'm at, in Australia, I'm still working for the same landscape architecture firm. It's the only job I've ever had. I've been there for 5 years. I'm 25 now. Um, and at this point in time, I have it pretty good. I mean, I live a very a very comfortable lifestyle. I've I ride motorcycles. I've got 2 motorbikes. I've got all this stuff. I make 6-figure salary. I've got benefits. I've got 6-8 weeks paid vacation. And all this stuff. And this is stuff that people work their entire life to achieve. And I've done it at 25, and I am walking away from it pretty much to go and explore this world of endless possibilities. I could stay there for forever and keep making more money and more money and have more things and more things, but one day I know I would take a step back, and I'll probably have 3 kids, been divorced 2 times, have a house with a little white picket fence, and wonder, where did my time go? And what I have to keep reminding myself is that life is about the experiences. It's not about it's about the journey. It's not about the stuff. It's about people. It's about creating yourself. And there's no better time than now for me to do this. So it's gonna happen. Pretty much, we on the 25th of November, we are heading to Malaysia and going for, look what, Max is saying 2 years, I'm saying 1 year. I don't know. We'll see where that ends up. It's going to be questionable. But, we're going to go out and we're going to do, you're going to see the raw stuff. You're going to see what goes on. And everybody knows Max is one crazy motherfucker. So I'm looking forward to going with the guy. And I think that it's going to be a good, good experience. I mean, we complement each other well on different angles of stuff. For the last, I've been home. I've been here in Dayton for probably about 4 weeks at this point. And actually, I don't speak with many people from high school or when I left. I'm just a different person than from when I moved out to Australia. And coming back here, I didn't really want to talk to anybody because I didn't want to fall back into that that mold that everybody thought I was. So I've kept away from people, and I decided I wanted to meet some new people, and I actually started doing some online dating with some pretty good success, and I've met some really cool people, and that's how I've been sort of working on my game recently. And I personally, I'm sort of trying to get myself pumped up for this trip, and make sure that I'm in the right headspace for this. And at the moment, I've been really working on a lot of stuff, inner stuff, of trying to figure out where I'm at and where I want to be and what I want to get out of this. And it's going to be a good experience. And I look forward to sharing it with everybody on PILLAGETheWorld.com. And like I said, you're going to see, we're going to be pretty consistent about what we're posting. It's not about the game, it's about the inner, it's about meditation, it's about working out while we're traveling, it's about eating well, it's about like really getting down and dirty in this crazy world, and seeing what it's all about, see what see what it has to offer, to be honest. So it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm pumped. Hopefully you guys are as pumped as me. And look, we'll see each other in the next post. Peace out.